A significant lake effect snow event is about to unfold across portions of Michigan. But first, let's go ahead and back things up to our Thanksgiving forecast and then dive into the nitty gritty details of the lake effect event. So, we've been tracking a system on your Thanksgiving. It's going to happen overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. Michigan should be fine. Just some lake effect snow showers up in the UP. Maybe a snow shower in southeast Michigan here, as a GFS model does bring this snow potential a little bit further north than last night's model. But overall, if you're traveling south into Indiana and Ohio, do expect a mix of rain and snow that could impact travel, especially early tomorrow. This model right here is actually 10 p.m. tonight, so a little bit quicker timing than expected. But overall, I think it should be a pretty good travel day. I think snowplows are going to be out there and about, so we should be okay for traveling across the region. Unless you're going over to Pennsylvania really early, you should be just fine for traveling. All right, that's your Thanksgiving. Temperatures upper 30s or so across the state. Up north will be a little bit cooler, down south a little bit warmer. But attention is turned to lake effect. As that system moves off to the east, our winds, our black lines we call isobars, they change from the north to south to northwesterly to southeasterly. So we draw on a map here. These lines that are going this way all across that indicates northwest winds. They cross our warm lakes, Lake Huron, Lake Superior, not Lake Huron, Lake Michigan, Lake Superior, sometimes Huron, but not often. When the cold winds and the warm lakes combine with a low pressure system in the area, we get a prime environment here for lake effect snow. This is going to start as early as Thursday evening, so Thanksgiving evening, and that will kick up lake effect snowfall into your Friday. So as a result, we have 4 or 5 days of continuous lake effect snow. I'm going to use the word continuous. It's not going to be the entire 5 days, but the winds will be favorable for lake effect snow for about 5 days. Let's go ahead and jump in here to our mesoscale model here. This is why we're going to do this. We usually don't show raw model data, but we're getting close to the event, so it's a little bit more accurate, so to speak. But also, I want to highlight this as we move through the period. So let's go. This is a snowfall map here out of our forecasting software here. But we look at the lake effect bands here. I want you to notice one thing here as we move into Thursday afternoon here. This is Thursday evening at 7 p.m. The UP's already started here. The northern lower starts to get going, and here comes southwest lower here as early as Thursday night. So one thing I want to take note here, and this is not an official forecast, so keep that in mind. These are snow totals on this model here. This is not an official forecast. I want to highlight two things here. Number one, look how small and localized these bands of snow are. And those are going to be intense bands when you get into them. But the only uncertainty is where those more intense bands will set up, because they're very variant on how the winds act. So if the wind shifts just minorly, that could affect a couple miles in radius. So the exact areas and pinpoints of the highest totals are still yet to be known. But if we move this into as far as we can go, 48 hours, we're going to notice a trend here. Look at the UP up there. UP gets kind of, I'm not going to say buried, but the UP is going to get a foot or two of snow. Let's not mince words here. We're going to get a lot of snow up there, especially in the northern, northeastern, and also the far western central part of the UP. That's where the heaviest snow is expected. Notice in Menominee County, though, down here, we really don't get anything besides a dusting. So it's very localized. Moving down to northern lower, or the lower peninsula here, notice how the east side of Michigan doesn't really have much of any accumulation there. It's all west side stuff, with an exception to 94 corridor perhaps toward Lenawee, Adrian, Hillsdale, maybe getting a band stretch over there. Again, highly dependent on how these lake effect bands set up. Friday is going to be a day to watch, though, if you're traveling in West Michigan or northern lower or the UP, as lake effect snow will kick up and significant accumulations are expected. So as a result, we have forecasted for 5 days worth of snowfall starting tomorrow evening into Friday through Tuesday. It is a 5-day snowfall accumulation map. Okay. Some areas of this map will receive higher and perhaps lower totals, especially when you get into those higher zones up there, 12 to 20. And also in the 6 to 12 zones, we definitely could see 15, 16 inches in some of these spots. And if you're in the pink zone, you could get as much as 2 feet or more in some spots. It really is dependent on how this lake effect banding sets up and if it fluctuates any. If it dumps over one spot, that's where we're going to get our really big accumulation. But if it kind of fluctuates back and forth, we should see a more widespread or snowfall. So overall, localized snow squalls likely Friday, accumulating in multiple inches of snow. But this forecast is for 5 days. We'll have a more easy approach to things. Tomorrow, we're going to do one day at a time. This is just our overall outlook. And then starting tomorrow evening, we'll have a one day at a time. So tomorrow, we're going to release Friday. Then Friday evening, we'll release Saturday, so on and so forth. So we're going to try and keep things simple, but also effective here in communicating the potential for snowfall. So overall, that's your snowfall map. East side, sorry, lake effect doesn't reach over there too often. Could still see some snow showers. Absolutely. Could see some accumulations. Sure. But most of this will stay on the west side of Michigan and also up there in the UP. And again, time frame for the heaviest for right now will be Friday during the day and into the evening on Friday. After that, it may calm down a little bit for Saturday. But again, it remains favorable throughout the 5-day period. So do expect multiple updates as we get more information and short-term model data comes out. We have better ideas to pinpoint and forecast. So overall, expect significant lake effect snow. If you're in any of these areas, I would highly advise against travel throughout Friday and perhaps early Saturday as well. I know it's a holiday weekend, but do not get into a position where you're going to end up on a highway. Low visibility conditions are definitely possible with wind blowing. We don't want to see pileups. We want you guys to be safe. So just if you're traveling, take extra caution. Would advise against travel, especially in that 6 to 12 and 12 to 20 zones where we could see very heavy lake effect snow that could cause travel reductions and perhaps multiple accidents as well. We don't want to say that, but it's likely that we're going to have some accidents here. Just don't want to mince words here. But overall, that's your forecast here. Long term, cold. Tomorrow is the last day of mild temperature, so to speak. It's going to drop off quickly. It'll stay in the 30s and perhaps 20s for a long time here with multiple more snow chances throughout the period. Stay with us here. We'll keep you guys updated. Before I head out of here, shout out to our sponsor, Cats Roofing and Siding out of Lansing and Battle Creek. 517-485-9886. They do roofing, siding, windows, and gutters across South Central Michigan. Feel free to give them a call. Tell them we sent you. We'll see you guys tomorrow here on our YouTube channel.